October has earned the name Pumptober in the crypto world, which historically is a month where markets take off and Bitcoin leads the charge higher. But the big question this year, at least to me, is will we actually see the classic Pumptober rally that everyone's expecting, or could the market flip the script and deliver quite the opposite? I'd like to know what you think here as well, so please drop a one-word comment down below. Pumptober if you're bullish, or Dumptober if you think the market's going to head lower in October. This not only helps me gauge how our audience stands, but it also helps to push this content out to more investors like us in a fun way. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the data, the charts, and what I'm watching most closely. My name is Paul Sampson. Welcome back to DataDash. Folks, if you enjoy the content that Nicholas Merton and I share with you here each and every day on YouTube and would like to go even deeper, consider joining DataDash Pro, where as a member, you'll get access to our private Discord community where I share setups, outlooks, and insights in real time with hundreds of active traders and investors. You also receive Nick's monthly Dash report, which is a deep dive into macro trends and crypto cycles to keep you ahead of this market. We're only opening this up to 270 additional members from where we are today. And once those slots are filled, folks, we're gonna be closing off memberships to keep the group small, boutique, and focused so that every member that does join gets the best possible experience. Be sure to claim your seat today. Become a pro member over at datadashpro.com. All right, folks, every year I've been in this crypto market, every end of the year is the same. Whether again, I don't want to state that by no means do we never see these things when everybody expects them, because at times we do. It's just the how, right? So I'm talking about Pumptober, Uptober type of deal, Q4 super bullish, right? That's usually the idea that many people have as we walk into the end of the year. But a lot of times it's not that simple. Every time it's not that simple, right? So the only time it may have been that simple was back in 2017 when we quite literally only had an up-only time frame. Really, if I look back, I'm sure we had some pullbacks during that window as well. But that's really what I want to hammer on, is the fact that even if we could and will see an overall uptrend in the next coming months, to just assume that it's going to be up only, especially if the price does continue up here, is just something that I wouldn't necessarily just overly, bet on. So this is actually a post from me last year, right? So this was September 26th of 2024, so over a year ago. And I was stating that, is anyone else already annoyed with the term Uptober, right? So it's Pumptober this year, but Uptober last year was like the number one trending buzzword over on X, right? So got to imagine we see a 10 to 20% correction during up only season, right? And that's just me stating that, again, even if we were to see the continued move up, it was likely to get a pullback at first. And what happens during every pullback? Well, everybody flips very bearish right away. It gets really fearful, but that's not us, right? We're going to be looking for how the market may react in these times and be prepared for them accordingly. And if we flick back, and if we take a look back on Bitcoin's price back here, this was as we began October of last year. And what did we have? A overall little correction here, which was probably at least 20, and if we flip back here to last year at that time, so this was literally when I made that post around the 26th of September. This was October 1st, basically. We had a little, nothing crazy, honestly. This was actually a little ABC correction right into an NPOC that we were targeting. Let me see if I even still have it here, and I do right there. So this was the NPOC. So this was a naked point of control left over from the previous quarter as we started the new quarter. So again, I was targeting this setup when we began Q4 of last year. Really nothing out of the ordinary here. A little simple ABC correction right into a major level, and that was the ultimate low before we ran it up. So a little 10-12% pullback before, yes, the overall quarter did remain bullish, but I just want to point out that in the near term here, what we could see, right? So it's not all just completely up only. And then of course, look what we had along the way here. Small pullback. Living those out in real time, though, of course, everybody's getting fearful, right? Because it was like 8%. This is back before we even broke out of the highs at that point. But overall, it did end up pretty bullish, right? So last year. So let's take a look at, what the sentiment is here for this year. Again, I kind of just went through and just, kind of cherry picked a few posts here, but it's, to me at least, it seems like everyone's pretty, much under the impression that we're going to see Uptober or Pumptober, right? So we've got only one day left for the legendary Pumptober. So again, insinuating that we have a guarantee that we're going to see, the market move higher. Over here, talking about how CZ's mentioning whatever he's mentioning here that somehow leads this person into thinking that he's hinting at a Pumptober. So again, it's just speculation at the moment, but it's running rampant as it usually does as we walk into this time frame. And it doesn't hurt that Bitcoin's actually pushing up, at least locally, right? So we got this recent little push from the $108,000 area up to like 115, little cool down so far. So what am I looking for here as we walk into Pumptober, right? How am I going to be managing this month? If you watched yesterday's video, I kind of highlighted how we're in this really interesting time frame in these next few weeks. So if you haven't watched yesterday's video, please do yourself a favor and do so. As a little bit more of the macro, but I want to cover October as we're walking into it. Again, if we see price action continue up, everybody gets excited, and that is where I think that the price is heading. I will say that we're more than likely heading up here. So let's just say these first 2 weeks are very bullish in Bitcoin. And we push up to, potentially even back to a new all-time high, but at least back up to this 118 and 120 $1,000 area. Everyone will be quite excited, assuming that all things, are going to be, continuing up. I think that if Bitcoin pushes up for a week or two here, the altcoins will probably continue up for a few weeks after that. So I still see that as my overall viewpoint here in the next coming weeks, is that the altcoins will see a little bit of upside. Obviously, it's going to depend here on Bitcoin. As long as we're holding over 107,000, which right now we're pretty good jolt away, that doesn't change anything. So the only thing I will say here is that if things start popping off and we're walking in, and the euphoria will kick in very fast, it's just be cautious around the overall, like, oh, it's got to continue up. Q4 is going to be extremely bullish. We're going to run, because if we do get this push up, especially in the beginning of October here, I think it could set us up for a little bit of a trap where people get very excited, euphoric, don't really decide to take any kind of profits or make any moves and what have you, right? Like, everybody's got their different strategy at hand. Not everybody's a short-term trader or anything like that. For me, I'm actually looking to offload long-term positions in this window if we start to see some really big moves here. So that's just my personal outlook here, as I've been in the market for quite some time. But as I covered this yesterday as well, when we came down and made this little move right here, this was basically a gold pocket retracement, right? So we ran it up right to the gold pocket area, got a slap off that, pulled back nice and slow into this region here. And anytime that happens, I start to look for a harmonic setup, which is a sequence of Fibonacci's, right? This is something that I covered days ago in advance, before we even made our way back down to this region in the Discord here. I actually ended up closing off some of my long positions I took at 107, things like that, right? We were looking for some new entries in around this region here, around that 108K area again. And while this is just a potential, the key word there really is potential scenario at the moment, this is something that I'm looking into, right? So this is a crab harmonic, okay? So again, derived off of some key points here. Now, by no means is this something that's valid at this point. This is just something I'm tracking here, right? So if we were to continue up from here and push into new highs, a really big area for me is going to be that $130,000 to $140,000 area. Okay, again, no guarantee we get there, but that's what I'd be looking for. And I'm just painting a picture here that let's just pretend we run it up for a week or two into October. You break into new all-time highs, all this and all that. This is a super bearish reversal setup, especially when we're seeing it at the highs again. Okay, so just something to be aware of, because in the sense of the old Pumptober, Uptober type of deal, we could get a few weeks of that. Everybody gets really excited. We may come up and complete this bearish setup, and then we get a reversal, and that reversal could send us deep down, right? So I'm talking like back down into sub 100K Bitcoin. So that's how I'm viewing and playing this market as we walk into October. I'm not letting any kind of over emotions come in with the Uptober and the Pumptober, and every quarter four has got to be this, and every politician is talking about crypto right now. Those are actually huge red flags to me as we're coming into this time frame. Granted, that window of time can last a few weeks, right, before things really start getting messy. Again, no guarantee we have to see a crazy pullback by any means, but I'm just showcasing what's in front of us at the moment. My bias still leans we're going to see more upside at this time. preparing for, you know, a potential bearish setup to unfold here, right? So, and this is something that if we were to come up to that 130 mark, which I've been hammering on for months at this point, maybe it doesn't get hit. Maybe 125 or 124 was the high, right? At least locally. If we're going to get a sizable correction out of Bitcoin, it's gonna come from this region, right? So I'm talking like 30%. So again, takes us back under 100K, maybe even into 90s and 80K range. That's the area that has got my most attention if we do get a pullback. But until then, hold above $107,000 Bitcoin. Altcoins are looking good. We'll even touch on ETH really quickly, right? So covered in the Discord as well, right? One of the biggest things I always look for, this really strong move here. We got a pullback. Generally, you don't get a grand pullback to like the gold pocket or anything deeper than truly the 382. This is where you see a lot of, you know, really nice strong moves up. You get a pullback to 382 and you get the continuation from there, right? So that's something I'm monitoring here also, as long as we're holding above basically that 3870. Just need to get back above our month pivot here. To be fair, we're going to generate some new monthly pivots tomorrow. So if we do come down just a little bit into those, you know, something to just kind of be aware of short term. But overall, this is still my outlook on ETH. You know, obviously we front ran my overall target by less than 2%. So just, you know, pretty darn close. But so far, you know, still looking to see if we push back up and take that high one more time before the sizable correction in the market, right? So that's something I'm noting here. And yeah, so that's how I'm playing it here in the next few weeks on Bitcoin as we walk into Pumptober or October. If you had to ask me, I guess I would, you know, as a just if I had to guess, right, if I'm going to look and say, what does Q4 look like to me? I'm going to say it's both, right? We're probably going to pump and dump. Most neutral answer out there, right? But because of the way I see the market looking right at the moment, it's that I could see us pushing maybe into new all-time highs and then coming all the way back down sub 100K all in the next 3 months. So keep that in mind. And of course, I'll be updating along the way. That's probably going to wrap it up for today's video. As always, remember markets move in cycles. And while it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of short-term rallies or the fear of corrections, the key is to step back, keep the bigger picture in mind, focus on risk management, stay patient, and let the probabilities play out over time. I want to thank you all for being a part of this journey here with us at DataDash. Your support means the world to us. And my goal is to continue bringing you the insights and the tools that can help you navigate these markets with confidence. Till next time, everybody, stay safe, stay disciplined. I'll see you all in the next video. And until then, everyone, cheers.